Good morning, everyone. My name is Michael Sowers. I am the Director of Technology here at DSpace. And as part of our recent move to online digital programming, I've been doing a series of these webinars called Google Search Secrets. And this is my third one in the series. Probably will not be the fourth, be a fourth. I think this is going to kind of cover the last of what it is I wanted to cover in this series. You do not have to have watched the first two to understand what I'm going to be talking about today, but they are currently available on YouTube, on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/DoSpaceOmaha. But I would encourage you to see them. They're each about a half an hour long, and we'll give you lots of tips and tricks and dive into some details about some specialty Google searches and search types. In this session, I'm going to be covering Google Alerts and some kind of quick searches, or what I like to call Google Knows, just stuff Google knows that you can use to get an answer pretty darn quickly. We do have a chat and a Q&A section here in the Zoom interface. If you would like to use the chat, I will be monitoring that. You have a choice to send your message just to all panelists or to all panelists and attendees. That is up to you. If you send it to either of those, I will see it and I will do my best to answer your question. Just kind of depends on whether or not you want to share that with everybody. And so I'm going to go ahead and dive right in. Feel free to ask questions as we're going along. And if I'm not clear on something, I will do my best to clear that out for you. So like I said, I'm going to start with Google Alerts. Now, Google Alerts is a really interesting feature that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. That's because really you have to find it. There's no link to it off the main Google search page. You can find it, as you can see up here, at google.com/alerts. And so you do need to be logged into a Google account for this to work. And so I am logged into my work account and I don't have any alerts set up yet. Now, in this account, in my personal account, I've been using Google Alerts for over a decade, and I'll give you kind of some of those examples as we're going along. But what Google Alerts allows you to do is to set up a search and then have Google automatically perform that search for you on a schedule and then alert you to any new results. I have been using this for, like I said, a very long time. I have been kind of on the internet and an internet presence. I used to be a trainer as my day job for computers and the internet, and I've had a blog for a couple of decades now. So one of the things I've had on a Google Alert forever is literally just my name, so that Google will, anytime it finds a mention of me, it will let me know. Luckily, in certain circumstances, I have a vaguely unique name. There's not a lot of Michael Sowerses out there, but I do know that there is a very good, as far as I can tell, a college soccer player that's out there. And I think I found another Michael Sowers recently that's a fashion designer. So it's not necessarily going to tell me only things about me, but it will tell me when my name pops up. So as you can see here on the screen, it's got create an alert about, and then it's got me on the web. And so what it's going to do is it's automatically going to suggest that you create a search for yourself. Now, if your name is Jane Smith or Bob Jones, probably not going to be necessarily the best option. You can create a search based on your name. You can also create a search based on your email address. So I'm just going to use me as an example just to start, since it's already provided to me. So I'm just going to click this little plus sign here next to my name. And then it just automatically pre-populates my alerts. Now, I said you didn't have to have watched my previous sessions, but one thing I will say is you notice here that we are using quotation marks around the name. This means it's going to find any instance of Michael and Sowers as a phrase put together, not just Michael Jones and Steve Sowers somewhere else in a document. So right off the top, I have now my first alert set up. And so I've got a couple of options here over on the right. I have some general settings, which I'll come back to in a little bit. I can delete my alert or I can edit my alert. I'm going to go ahead and edit this alert. And what you're going to see here is you've got some options and you've got a preview down here at the bottom. So you've got options. And so the first one is how often. And excuse me, I'll close that up. How often? You've got choices here: as it happens, at most once a day, or at most once a week. So the question is how often would you like Google to alert you to new results? I generally, on my name, I usually pick at most once a day. One set of results is fine. Excuse me, sorry about that. You can set it to a weekly, or you can have, like, this is so important to me, I want to be notified almost immediately. Sources, automatic. You can have it search. Automatic is just a plain old Google search. It's going to kind of search across all of the different properties that Google has. You can have it search news, blogs, just the web, video, books, discussions, and they even have a finance section. So you can set up an alert on a stock quote, for example, or a ticker symbol. I'm just going to kind of leave this in automatic here. Whoops. Language. Google supports a lot of languages. You can specify that you're looking for results in any particular language. Generally, my name only shows up on the English language content, but you know what? I've written some books, I've published some articles. Somebody might mention me on a French website. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that in any language because, you never know what's going to come up. As for reading that French content, we'll actually come back to that in a little bit. Region, I can set up so that, where are those results coming from? Any region means anywhere in the world. I could say I only want to be notified about things in the United States. Again, I like to leave this nice and broad. I'm going to leave it at any region. How many? So we have two choices here, only the best results or all results. This one you kind of have to experiment with. Generally, my suggestion is, especially if you're searching on a topic as opposed to a person's name, go ahead and leave it at all results at first and take a look at what sort of results you're getting back. If it's too much, if you're getting things that are really obscure and really not what you're looking for, you can change that to the other option, which is only the best results, and that will pretty much narrow it down. One of the things, though, you'll notice, which I haven't really pointed out, is as I've changed these options, these sample results have changed down here at the bottom. So if I was to say change any language to, well, let's just pick one here. I want to pick something too obscure. Sorry about that. That notifications should not be showing up. Let's go ahead and say I am actually going to find French. There we go. So now, as you go down here, we do actually have some things in French. This first one, that's still in English. Not sure why that's happening, but you'll notice scrolling down further, everything is here in French. So you kind of get a live update of what's going on. The last one is deliver to. So you've got two options here, and I am sorry about these pop-ups. Let me see if I can make those go away, and I am not sure why any of them are happening. So I apologize. We'll just kind of, oh, you know what? I think it's my phone. Let me shut that off. Those should make it happen. Sorry about that. So you can have the results delivered to you in one of two ways. The first is you can have an email sent to you. And for most people, this is going to be exactly what you want. So at most once a day, I'm going to get an email sent to me at my work address here, and it's going to say, hey, this is Google. Here are the new results that I found. If you are somebody who is familiar and uses RSS feeds, you can also get an RSS feed for this that you can subscribe to and get your results in a feed reader. I am not going to get into that topic here in this presentation. So just if you are aware of it, great. If you are not, just leave it as an email address and you will get your results sent to you via email. So I'm just going to say, okay, update alert. And now I still have my Michael Sowers alert. And whenever, once a day, I'm going to get an email address. And if Google has found new results, then, hey, you're going to get that email from you. You can create an alert about anything. So when I used to teach librarians and I would teach them this topic, the example I would give is, if you work for a city library, and so ultimately, probably the mayor is somebody you want to have a good relationship with. And maybe the mayor, is interested in a particular topic or is researching a particular topic. And so you're like, hey, you know what? what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up an alert, and I'm going to get notified when there's new articles on that particular topic, and then I'm going to send them to the mayor. And then the mayor knows that I'm a good resource. I'm doing work for them. You could do this for your boss. You don't have to be in a library. That your boss doesn't have to be a mayor. But if you know that your boss is really interested in a particular topic, create an alert for that topic. So one topic I'm interested in, and you'll know this especially if you watch my previous videos, is Dean Koontz. I'm a big collector of his work. I'm a big fan of his work. So what I might want to do is set up a search for Dean Koontz and kind of look at that here. And you know what I really want to do is I really just want to have news items for him instead. I don't need every single blog post from somebody. I don't need every Google result. I really want to know like when he's in the news or when he's published a new book. So I'm going to go ahead and select news. And you know what? Once a week is fine. I really don't need to a daily update on this. English is fine. You know what? And I'm gonna be really limiting here. I'm gonna say just results from the United States, and I just want the best results, and I want that sent as an email to me. So I go ahead and just create alert, and you'll see I now have 2 results. You can set up a complicated search, as complicated as you want. Go ahead, put it in here, set it up, and then off you go. And you will just automatically start receiving these emails. I have found this so useful over the years. I can provide you with more examples, but really it's going to be up to you as to what topics that you're interested in. So before I get out of alerts, I just want to go ahead and click on this settings button. And this is settings for kind of globally for all of your alerts. You can actually set a delivery time. So let's say, you start work at 8 a.m., you got some work topics going on. So send it to me every morning at 7 a.m. So that way when you get into work, there's that email waiting for you with your new results. You can also set up what's called a digest. And so this kind of overrides the individual settings on your particular searches. Or actually, let me take that step back. The digest allows you to get like one email for all of your alerts. So in other words, let's say you've got 15 alerts set up. You could get 15 emails a day, or you could get one digest email that contains all of those results for all of those 15 alerts in just one giant email. So, do you want lots of individuals? Do you want it all together? When do you want it sent? I think that's like both super handy options to do that. So that really is all there is to Google Alerts. Do your search, put it in here, set your options, click save, and then just sit back and let those search results come to you. I think that's, like I said, it's been so handy in both my personal research and my work life for almost 20 years now. I think it's really handy, and everybody should have Google Alerts set up, especially on themselves. You never know what you're going to find out there on your name. So I just want to pause here for a moment. I'm not seeing any questions come through, but if you've got one on Google Alerts, now would be a great time. With that, I am going to go ahead and now kind of run through a bunch of quick things, like what I like to call Google knows. Okay, and these are really like quick and dirty tips and tricks. So I've just got a list here. Bear with me. Stop me if you want to see something a little more detailed about any particular one of these. The first one is did you know there's a calculator in Google? So I'm going to go ahead and type in calculator, and look at that. We got a calculator right up there. And full scientific calculator, I can, 9 divided by 3 equals, and there's my answer, 3. You can do something obviously more complicated than that if you want to. But did you know you don't actually have to bring up the calculator first? You can go ahead and say 9 divided by 3 right in your search terms, and it's going to then bring up the calculator and give you an answer. I mean, some of these I think sometimes work much better on a phone. Like, you bring up the calculator app or just type in that Google box and get your answer. Also, and I am not a math person, so bear with me here. I'm going to cheat and I'm going to copy and paste. Google is also a graphing calculator. So I found this mathematical formula. I don't know what it is. That's fine. But the point is that it did not give me what I wanted. Oh, come on. Google, you're not working here. I tested this before, honest. Oh, welcome to life. Nope. Okay, we'll come back to that. What I was expecting to see up here at the top instead of a bunch of videos and search results was this actually graphed out in 3 dimensions. It worked an hour ago, and so let me just go back to the main screen here and try this. Nope, I'm getting pictures. Ha! Apologies. Try it again later on yourself, and we'll see what happens there. Okay, the next one. The next one actually only works on. Nope, I can't do that one. So sorry. Wow, one little thing goes wrong and you get completely thrown from your spiel. All right, so let's talk about conversions. So you know what? I am not a really good person when it comes to things like how many pints in a gallon, how many ounces in a pound, so things like that. You can ask Google. So I'm going to ask 6 pints is how many gallons? And look at that, we get 6 liquid pints is equal to 3/4 of a gallon. But what you'll notice here is we've got a bunch of things we can click on. So you know what? Actually, I didn't want it in gallons. I want it in fluid ounces. Okay, so 6 pints is equal to fluid ounces. And you know what? I didn't really want pints. I wanted it in liters. So 6 liters is 202.884 fluid ounces. And I can actually change these numbers right here. And you'll notice as I type in numbers, the answers changes over on the right. You can also change this to all sorts of other types of conversions. Some of these I don't even know what they mean. But let's go ahead. I'm going to change this to speed. And now it's miles per hour to kilometers per hour. And I can go ahead and say, you know what? Instead of, I want meters per second is equal to 1 meter per second is equal to 3.6 kilometers to hour. I can use all these clicks and things, or I can just type it in up at the top here. So I can say 6 inches in centimeters. And there we go. It automatically changes all that to do that. And check this out, it gives you the formula. So multiply the length by 2.54, and that's your answer. Okay. The other one is I buy a lot of books, and I buy some books from overseas, and I will buy books from England. And so when I buy a book, it says that, you know what, that is going to be $24.99 in Great British pounds, and I need that in US dollars. So there we go. Right now, at this moment, $24.99 in pounds is equal to $31.29 in dollars. And look at this. We get our options again, so we can change our currencies. There's dozens and dozens of currencies in here. We can change our amounts. But then since this is a currency thing, we actually get a chart of how that currency value has changed over time. And I can look at it for today, 5 days, a month, a year, 5 years. I don't even know what max is. In this case, it's going well back. It goes back to 2003. So again, you know, just kind of ask the question, have it do the conversion, and then it comes up, and not only will you get options, but you're going to get some data too that backs it up and gives you a historical record. All right, let's change topics. Sometimes, you know what, I don't know how to define a word or maybe even pronounce that word. So I'm going to ask Google to define loquaciousness. I'm just going to put that in. And I've got a dictionary results. I've got my pronunciation. And let's see if I did this right.
Loquacious.
I don't know if you heard that, but it said that word out loud. And then I can even click onto this other area that will go actually walk me through how to pronounce it. I've got my definition. I've got my word type. I've got similar synonyms listed here. And then you can go even further and pull up things like the word origin, the etymology of the word. You can ask it to translate. We're going to get back to translations in a little bit. Use over time, how often. So like in the 1800s, loquaciousness was used a lot. 2010, 2020, not so much. Okay. All right, moving on. So I mentioned I buy a lot of books and I get tracking numbers. So did you know that you can take a tracking number pop that into the Google search, and it's going to be like, hey, I know that that's a package tracking number. And then it will provide me with the link directly to the UPS because it knows that this is a UPS number. I think this is a package I've already gotten, so we won't go further than that. Maybe you want to take a flight. Okay, probably you don't want to take a flight right now, but some people still need to. So, I'm wondering what flights are available from Omaha to Washington, D.C. So I can just say OMA to DCA, pop that in, and what I'm going to get here is I'm going to get flight results. And again, boxes, I can change my origin and my destination. I can change what dates I'm going to fly. You know what? I'm not going to go till June 20th, and I'm going to come back on the 22nd. And then you'll see it will give me airline choices, how long the flight's going to take, whether or not there are connections, and approximately how cheap that flight could be. If I want to go even further, I can go ahead and click on search flights, and it's going to take me into a whole other interface under Google for searching flights. I'm not going to go any further into this one, but you can see here there are a lot of options, grids, graph prices, nearby airports, options. I used to travel for a living. I wish I had this back when I traveled for a living. One little side note, track prices, check that out. You can get alerts for when prices go down. So just, if you got a trip coming up, go ahead and check this out. I mentioned stocks a little earlier. So you know what? I'm interested in buying some Google stocks. So I'm going to type in their ticker symbol here. And again, I'm going to get one of these information boxes. And so it's actually technically the name of the company is Alphabet. I can follow this company. There's a whole Google Finance section that I don't know enough about to actually explain to anybody, but you can add that to the following there. It's going to give you a what the price is right now, change today, and then look at this. We got live graphs. I can see what it looks like today. I can look at the last 6 months. I can look at the last 5 years. Obviously, earlier this year, a lot of things wasn't doing all that well. And then again, you've got this more about down here at the bottom. You click on that, and it's just going to take you to a page just about that stock with news and links to quarterly financials and related markets and market news and all of these other things. So, never be afraid to click on all this stuff. This takes you into that finance area of Google that I am honestly not all that familiar with. All right, a handful more to go through. Google does the weather. So I'm going to ask about the weather in Omaha, and it's going to give me the, currently it's 84 degrees outside. I can get the temperature, a precipitation graph, not a participation graph, a precipitation graph, or a wind graph. It'll give me over time here with the weather coming up for the next 7 to 10 days. And just, quick little thing. I wonder what it's like in London. Going to go ahead and ask there. And it is just 64 degrees in London, but it's rainy. Yeah, it's London. So kind of sticking with the weather theme just a little bit, I wonder when the sunrise is going to be. And so tomorrow's sunrise will be at 5:50 a.m. You can also do sunset. And tonight's sunset will be at 8:58 p.m. And then I believe, let me see if this is correct here. I can, on January 1st, 2021, I think I can do this. So there we go. You can put in a particular date in the future, or let's say in the past, 1721. There we go. The sunset in Omaha in the year 1721 was at 5:15 p.m. Doesn't change all that much. Weather, you can also get the time. So what time is it in London? It's currently 5:26 p.m. Memorial Day. So I actually did this yesterday. I have to set up our computers so that the reservation system knows when we're closed, so people can't make reservations on those times. So I was going through and I'm like, you know what? Well, 4th of July, that's easy. It's on July 4th. Memorial Day. When is Memorial Day? Not sure. So I'm just going to ask, literally, when is Memorial Day? And it will tell me right there up at the top, it's on May 25th this year. And then again, you can put in another year. When is it next year? It is going to be on May 31st. Few more to go. Kind of quick through running through these. Earthquakes. This is kind of random, but you can go ahead and type in earthquake. And it's going to give you information about recent earthquakes. And you can kind of scroll through this, see different ones, and it looks like there was one in Peru on June 7th. And so I can click on that and I can get my map. I can say where it is, and then it will actually take me to the US Geological Survey to get more information if you want. I realize, we don't get many earthquakes in Nebraska, but it has been known to happen. Another one that's kind of fun is population data. Google has access to a lot of public data. So I'm just going to pick Norfolk as an example here in Nebraska. And so there we go. The 2018 population is 24,651. It gives me comparisons to other similar localities near the area. It gives me this chart of which I can cover over and kind of see over time how that population has changed and changed to each other. And then again, I'm not going to go too far into this, but notice this explore more right down here. We go ahead and do that, and this takes you into the full public data set that Google has. And so, I am not a data person to this level, but, we do pay attention to demographics here in Omaha, populations compared to people who use our services. So we can go in and get, migration rates, birth dates, death rates, international migration. Right now we're just looking at population, numerical population change. Down here at the bottom, we can limit to age groups and by gender. So if you're a data person, just start playing around in this. You can change how the graphs look. Maybe I want a bar chart instead of a line chart. There's a search box up here at the top. Just go ahead and start digging into that. I know people who love this website. I think they're a little weird, but hey, you know what? Somebody's got to be into it. All right. You ever need a timer? You know what? I need to know that there are 2 minutes left in this session. Not really, but I'm just going to say, hey, Google, 2-minute timer. And there we go. It's going to give me a 2-minute timer, and it starts counting down automatically. And in fact, I can even turn on an alert, so it's going to ding at me when it's all done. And then if I really wanted to, I could make it full screen, which I probably shouldn't have done. I don't know if you can see all of that, but now I have a big giant countdown on my screen. So like maybe if you need to do that in a room full of kids where you need a timer up on the screen, I'm going to go ahead and stop that. You also notice I could have typed stopwatch up here, but since I'm already at the timer, I have stopwatch. And so instead of a countdown, if you need to count up, Google's got a built-in stopwatch, and you can just keep going and see how long it takes to do what you need to do. All right, 2 more. I'm going to go ahead and translate. And you just get this quick, easy little interface. You can enter text here either by typing or by copying and pasting. You can also type in a URL if you need to translate a whole web page. So let's say I need to say good morning, and it detected that this is English, but I really need to know how to say that in Russian. There's my answer. Okay. If I was to open up French news site, I'm just going to do something really random here. And actually, you know what? I really needed news in French. I did not plan this well. I'm sorry. So, okay, we'll just go here, and I'm going to pick this article. And this article is actually not in French. It's in English. But what I'm going to do here is I'm going to copy that URL, paste it into here, and tell it that it's in French. And I suddenly have a feeling this is not going to work like I expected it to. But let's find out. So French to English. And all it's doing is actually translating the URL. It is not giving me a link. Okay, well, sorry, that didn't work either. Hey, 2 out of all these not working, I think is pretty darn good. So there we go. Okay, I want to show you one last thing just because I think this website is really fun. It's not officially a Google website, but it's kind of related to this. So I'm going to go ahead and go to a website called Let Me Google That For You. And this works with some other websites too, but have you ever had that friend that like asks you a question and you thinking to yourself, couldn't they have just Googled that? Like really, it's not that hard. So I only use this like people I really know well, and I just like dude, you ought to know better. I don't use this with strangers. But so like somebody asks me, how old is Dean Koontz? And I think to myself, you really could have just Googled that for yourself. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to like select Google, type in how old is Dean Koontz, and then I'm going to click get link. Okay. And really quick there, it said it copied a URL onto my clipboard. So what I do is I go back and in, let's say, Facebook Messenger is where my friend asked me. I said, hey, dude, here's your answer. And so I'm going to send them this link. And when they click on it, this is what's going to happen. So in other words, it's basically saying, hey, dude, you know what? You could have just gone to Google, typed that in, and clicked Google search and gotten your results. So anyways, I just think that's a fun little tool. Obviously just use it with your friends. Don't insult people. But yep, he's 74 years old. So anyways, so that is just about my 30 minutes. That is the Google Search Secrets Part 3. We covered Google Alerts, and we covered a lot of like what I call quick searches or Google Knows searches. And just want to kind of give all the attendees an opportunity to ask any more questions if you have them while I just vamp for a little bit here. I do want to thank everybody for attending. This session has been recorded. We will be posting that up in YouTube. We usually get them up in about a day or two. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/DoSpaceOmaha. And also want to let everybody know that today is June 12th, but on Monday, June 15th, we will be reopening the building. So if you are in Omaha and would like to come in to use our computers or some of our 3D lab equipment, please check out our website at dospace.org first. We are going to be opening up under some a little more limited circumstances than we're traditionally open. We'll have fewer computers, and we are asking that people make a reservation first. But like I said, come June 15th, we will be reopened to the public. So thank you for everybody for attending. I'm going to go ahead and end this webinar, and have a great day.